Hey there, wrestling fans. It's me, host with the most, and for another wrestling podcast edition. And you could check out my Facebook like page. It's down below. Check out my Twitter. It's TeamRI32, and especially check out my YouTube. It's TeamRI. Okay, my friend, introduce yourself and all that other great stuff.
Ladies and boys and girls, children of all ages, this is yours truly, Connor, aka OK Fame, here with my good friend, Mr. Rai Rai, here with us another lovely podcast. And today, I guess we're going to be talking to you guys about basically what we think is going to happen here in 2015. But don't forget to check me out on my social media outlet as well too. I got Facebook.com/OKFame is back, Twitter at OKFame, and I just launched a WordPress site where I'll be posting blogs, other stuff as well too, including my new podcast that will be coming out this month. So go ahead and check me out at OKFame, the number 4 ever.wordpress.com.
Okay, we all know that Rumble will be here very shortly. So, what kind of big things is going to happen, or should happen in 2015, my friend?
With just the Rumble or in general?
Oh, general, overall. I mean, they just say to kick it off. I know it's a brand new year, and I just want to see. Do you think? I know the road to WrestleMania will be here before you know it. Actually, it is, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. But after that, a lot of people are not going to tune in because it's not going to be great angles. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, that's one of the things I was just mentioning this earlier in one of my videos was I wish WWE took time to kind of start building their feuds
Yes, I agree.
long term, because one of the things I missed about wrestling was the fact that, like, I'm not asking for a year long build, but I'm looking for like
Permanent.
like a 3 month build for a good, decent, solid main event ish WrestleMania match. You know what I mean? And so so as far as the Rumble, what I'm pretty much expecting is obviously a winner. Duh.
Yeah, so
Um,
obvious. Yeah.
but we'll probably see some surprise Rumble entrances. I'm going to take a probable guess and say that maybe Sting might show up. Not sure yet, but if WWE was smart, I would have Sting show up at the Rumble.
Yeah. Or they could do it the next night at Raw, but it would make more sense at the Rumble. You know, make it like look what happened at the '04 Rumble when the Taker's music played and distract Kane. It could be like that kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, like stuff like that. Well, I mean, obviously they planted the seeds at Survivor Series. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
there's stuff like that that they could have done too. I mean, like hell, from that 2004 Royal Rumble, you had I think one, two, three WrestleMania matches.
Booked already.
Well, spurned off of that one match.
Yes.
You had obviously the winner Benoit, his title match at Mania. You also had when Brock Lesnar screwed Goldberg out of the Rumble match.
Yeah.
So there's the other one, and then you had Taker's gong to Kane. So you had that set up too. So I mean, it's stuff like that that I miss too. Like even if you had like just one feud spurn off of the Rumble match, I'll be happy with that. You know.
Yeah, I agree. What else? I just hopefully it's gonna be a great year. You know, January all the way through December, but sometimes W just gets so freaking lazy after Road to WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? They feel like they get lazy, and then they kick it back up the road to SummerSlam. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that they rely a little too heavy on their main event stuff to carry their programming.
Yep.
I think that like you know I don't know what goes on with the writing. I really don't. I have an idea from what I hear from the dirt sheets, but from what I understand, it looks like they try to plan out or lock in their WrestleMania main events early on,
Yeah.
which is awesome. I love that. But as far as the mid card goes, as far as I know, they just kind of like they throw their arms up in the air. And so
Yeah. It's sad too. They look like they don't give a flying shit about the mid carders. They used to back in the day, but they just concentrate on the main eventers all the time. They, every freaking pay per view. You know.
yeah, and I think that's one of the things that's one of the things they should have they should focus on more is especially with the added interest of the Intercontinental title. I think its value has gone up from this year alone. I think if they do that, they should put a little bit more focus on the importance of that anyway.
And especially U.S., I know Russo is dominating. Speaking of him, do you think he's gonna lose his belt around Mania time or at Mania?
I think well, there there's rumors that Rusev will be feuding with Cena at WrestleMania.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I know. But I think that if he was to drop the U.S. title, he'd probably drop it before he would meet Cena at Mania. I guarantee it.
Okay.
I think that if they start the program, right after, what is it, Fastlane in February, which I hate that name, they'll do it, and they'll just pull, like Cena will do something that costs Rusev the U.S. title.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? It's just something stupid.
Yeah, but and then you know what's gonna happen? Cena's gonna beat him because he's undefeated. If W was smart, let him beat Cena and let him beat U.S. champion longer, because
One of the problems, sorry to cut you off, but one of the big things that I hate about Cena, and it's not even about him as a person, it's the way that WWE has booked him.
yes,
And I'm sure a lot of people have said, okay, oh, Super Cena always wins. I have no problem with the way they're positioning him from a marketing standpoint and from like making him the guy, the man. I understand that, and to his credit, he's a hard worker, and I completely understand that. However, the one thing that I think that WWE doesn't take into consideration or doesn't follow through enough is fantasy matches. And what I mean by that is, if you look at the roster, John Cena has pretty much beaten everyone.
Yep, on the roster, yep.
And you're not left with anything left of any. There's nothing left for him to do. He's done everything. He's won pretty much, except for the Intercontinental title. He's won every championship and the Divas, but we wouldn't hold them against him.
Yeah.
But he's done it all. What's left for really him to do?
He could hang it up. He's done. I mean, he did all.
And that's they've done that not just with him. They've done that with, I think, Orton as well too. It's just like there's not much left for them to do because they've bull rushed through everything. That's why when Cena lost to The Rock at WrestleMania, I said, good. Not because of, fuck Cena, da, da, da. It's because, okay, now you have an opponent that he hasn't beaten yet. You have something on his checklist for him to do. Of course, they fucking rushed that a year later. But the point being, you had that obtainable goal of, oh, hey, this is something I haven't done yet. Let's let that linger for a while, you know what I mean? And they don't have that. I mean, hell, even when Brock came back, you could say that, technically, Cena never beat Brock Lesnar when Brock was in the WWE the first time.
Yeah, you're right. Are you talking about
2002 to 2004?
Yeah, that was a great one.
Cena never beat Brock. The second Brock comes back to WWE in 2012, the first person he faces at Cena.
Yeah, and that was a good match. I was there, and that was a great match. And I think Lesnar should have won that match, but whatever.
Lesnar should have won that match.
Yep.
Because they should have given Cena something to shoot for.
Yeah.
If you were to take that into consideration now, oh shit! Now the Lesnar Cena title matches are even more epic.
Yeah, but we're getting off subject here. But do you think we're gonna see some holy shit moments? Of course, Road to WrestleMania. But do you think the whole year, or do you think it's gonna be hit and miss again this year?
I think it's gonna be hit and miss because I think you're gonna have moments and matches that are kind of guaranteed to set up like that.
Yeah.
But I think that the mid card, I think what's gonna happen is you're gonna have a lot of NXT guys come up this year. I think you're gonna have a good chunk of them come up this year because I mean we already had we just got the Ascension.
Yeah.
We just got the Wyatt family. We got the Wyatt family was in 2013, but still. You have a lot of these guys coming up from NXT who are really hungry, and I think that what you're going to see is maybe not the main event product get better, like the upper card, but I think you can get a lot of lower and mid card stuff really start to kick some ass. Case in point, Luke Harper. A lot of people don't give Luke Harper the credit that he deserves. And if you don't know what I'm talking about and don't like, oh, that's BS, go look at Luke Harper's stuff in the independent scene when he wrestled as Brody Lee. You will see this guy do shit I have never seen a guy his size or his build do, including a fucking moonsault.
Wow.
Guy like him should not do a fucking moonsault. But my point being is that he's a very good worker.
But do you think WWE is gonna let him do that kind of stuff in WWE? Because I know it's PG and all that hoopla. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, probably not. But I mean, I think what's going to happen is you're going to see the hunger and that strike. His ladder match with Ziggler was fucking amazing.
I love that match. I should watch it. It's great, you know.
Well, I mean, it wasn't just Ziggler. If you go back and watch, it wasn't just Ziggler doing all the shit. I mean, don't get me wrong. I props and love for Ziggler all around. But if you go back and look, Harper was working and busting his ass just as much as Ziggler.
Hey, speaking of, sorry to cut you off, but would you like to see Dolph Ziggler win the Rumble?
Yes and no.
Is he ready or no?
Oh, he's so close. I think he's like so close. I mean, it's I'm trying to like not mix my words here, but the thing is, I think Ziggler, the only thing he lacks is and it's funny, he has great mic skills. He's not given enough time to talk.
Is it because Triple H still want him to give him enough talk, or what's the deal?
I don't know.
I mean, he's young. You know what's gonna happen? This is just my theory, my friend. If you don't get enough airtime, not main eventer again, he's just gonna leave the freaking company, and that is not good, you know.
Well, if you look at wrestling in general, the shelf life of a wrestler is not that long, given what they do in their profession and everything. They really don't have that much time in the ring. The fact that Cena's lasted 10 years on top is a mind-blowing statement. Whether or not you want to appreciate that or not is whatever. But he's been on top for 10 years. Busting ass for 10 years.
Yes. I mean, I like Dolph. He's great. I mean, he's way better than Ogun at Spirit Squad, and he came a long way. He's busted his ass, and I know he was in the doghouse recently. Now he's back. I just hopefully he's get out of the IC title picture and get back to the main event status. Hopefully this year, you know.
Well, my point being is that Ziggler's the type of wrestler who goes all out, which I love.
Yes, I love it too.
But it's gonna burn you out really quick.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that. That's no disrespect to Dolph. It is what it is. I know he plays it safe on some stuff, but he's the type of guy who goes all out, kind of like Shawn did.
Yes.
The problem is that if we don't get him in the main event soon, the opportunity to see his skills portrayed at the main event championship level might miss the boat, and that's what my fear is.
How old is he? Is he still young, or is he get up there?
Well, it doesn't matter about his age. His age is almost irrelevant. It's what he's doing physically in the ring.
Is he a future Hall of Famer? Dolph, or a long way for that?
Yeah, I definitely think so.
What? Long way?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It's too soon to tell.
Now, if he stays at the company, I guarantee that they're gonna make an awesome documentary on his life and his career.
To be honest, I'm surprised they haven't already made a DVD yet of him. I guarantee. I bet you probably will make one next year.
They will.
Yeah.
Because look at, he won Mr. Money Bank. You know, he did all stuff, but don't make it too soon because there's a lot of the DVDs in the past are just donkey shit. But I don't know what else to say. I just hopefully 2015 will be a great year for all the wrestling fans out there who's listening. You know.
Well, I mean, if you take away, because there's not just WWE out there. I mean, you have TNA.
Yeah.
You have Ring of Honor, and you have Global Force Wrestling. Global Force Wrestling is doing they're airing the first ever Japanese New Japan Pro Wrestling pay-per-view in the States. That's a genius move on so many levels. You have Ring of Honor, who's getting formerly Alberto Del Rio, now Alberto Del Patron. El Patron, excuse me. And then you have TNA, who's moving from Spike TV to Destination America. Which,
I don't even have that channel. Do you?
What's that?
Do you have that channel?
Yeah, I do.
I don't have it.
So I mean, and from what I hear in terms of their deal, it's a phenomenal deal.
How long they're going to be on there? Permanently?
I mean, I don't know how long the deal is for, but from what I've read, as far as their promotioning and standpoint, it's going to be huge.
Oh,
Because
speaking of new homes, what's your thoughts on SmackDown going back to Thursday nights?
yeah, honestly, it confuses me because if WWE is going for a PG demographic, I would think that staying on Friday nights when kids are done with school
Yeah.
after their, you know what I mean? I would think that would hit. I figured that would get them that more of that demographic because kids are staying up later because they don't have school the next day.
Yep.
I'm just confused.
Yeah,
I mean,
but wasn't it like that back in the day on Thursday nights? And no problem back then.
well, because they were doing it. They were true, but the thing was,
Oh, it was TV 14, right?
that's part of it. But my thing is, they changed my issue is okay. They're clearly WWE's clearly PG. There's no denying that at this point in time.
Yep.
So you're obviously going for a kid demographic between the ages of 6 and 15. So if you're trying to get more of those kids to watch your show, I would think that you'd have a better chance of them watching from an 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time frame
Yes.
on Friday night versus a Thursday because they will stay up later because they do not have school the next morning.
Yes. But do you think this is gonna hurt the views for SmackDown Thursday nights now coming pretty soon?
Sorry, what was that?
Do you think that because it's not on Fridays and well, I mean it will be moving January 15th, but do you think it's gonna hurt the views because a lot of kids gotta get up the next day? You know.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna hurt the ratings. At least not significantly enough that it's like, oh my god, we need to put it back on Friday. I just wouldn't have done it. I would have kept it on Friday.
Yeah, I just believe it. I don't know why did they switch it because why did they switch it back to Thursday anyway?
Honestly, I have no idea. I have really no clue whatsoever. I don't know.
They should have just in what the hell leave it on Tuesdays and make it live every week, but I guess that'd be too much overwhelming. Raw live and SmackDown live.
Yeah,
But nothing really big happens on SmackDown anyway. Nothing.
and that's another thing I've always been bitching about is the fact that WWE has a lot of shows, a lot of shows.
Yes.
If you really were to spread it out, okay, they have Raw on Monday, main event on Tuesday. Wednesday they have Superstars. Thursday NXT, and Friday they have SmackDown. So literally they have a show every day of the week.
True. Yeah.
Literally every day of the week. I feel like they're oversaturating themselves. I think that if they, I think they need to get rid of Superstars completely and expand main event to a little longer, or put that focus better on SmackDown.
Yeah. I think better off on SmackDown because I like main event, but I don't know what W's thinking sometimes.
I mean, I'm sure there are business moves and business decisions behind it for other reasons that I don't know about.
Yeah.
But it just from the limited knowledge that I know, it just doesn't make much sense to me.
What's your thoughts on the Authority come back so soon?
I kind of saw it coming. I'm not surprised because the Survivor Series thing I have mixed feelings about because as soon as they said John Cena, you're the only one that can bring back the Authority, I said, fuck, they're coming back.
Yep.
Because why else would you put that stipulated? Why else would you put that little key little key little note about it? It doesn't make sense. It's kind of like how when they said, okay, if the authority if the Authority loses, they're done. And then the last SmackDown before Survivor Series, they said, oh, by the way, if Cena's team loses, all of them except Cena are fired.
Yeah.
Like, come.
That's a stupid. That's a
Of
stupid
course.
story. Hey, by the way, why did authorities really lose? Is it because I heard rumors that Stephanie was pregnant and she had a baby? Is that true or rumor?
That's rumor.
Okay, because there's no way in hell. I know these days you could have these outfits and you know what I'm saying. Why was it? Is it because McMahon got tired of him on TV or what was the real reason?
I really don't know, to be
Okay.
honest with you. I mean,
They should be off TV longer, from my point of view.
oh no. I think that what they did to create that role was genius, to be honest with you, and I'll tell you why. So, one of the things that wrestling in general does, and they go back to this a lot, and it's a typical formula, and it's a successful one, which is why they keep going back to it, is having a heel faction.
Yes.
So you have like Evolution, NWO. Do you remember JBL's Cabinet?
Yes.
Yeah, stuff like that. The Nexus. You have these heel stables that have power.
Yes.
What happens? Well, you have baby faces who come up to rise against those powers. And so what that does is it creates almost instantaneous conflicts and rivalries, which is what, hey, wrestling is pretty much based upon.
So that's why they want to bring in Sting, because then he's going to face Triple H at Mania, correct?
I mean, bingo right there. I mean, if anything,
Yeah.
I actually did a video today saying that there's a rumor that Sting might be debuting on Raw.
Yeah, I saw your video. Yeah, good idea. Or actually a podcast, yeah.
Yep, so he might be coming in this week or next week because they want to start building that.
Yeah, whoever's going to that, lucky people. See, I can never go to because I live in Chicago, or actually / Indiana / Chicago. I can never go to a road to or build up to Mania, because you know what I'm trying to say, it never comes in this area that often. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, they're aiming for different venues now. It's all over the place, but you know, you have those instantaneous rivalries set up. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you had just Seth Rollins, what I think what was going on was, I think Seth Rollins cannot be the top heel right now, or at least he's not at the level that WWE wants him to be at.
From my point of view, he's gonna cash in sooner or later. I think maybe around Mania or before Mania.
I'd probably say it's interesting. They rumored after Mania, but then they rumored the Rumble too. But I don't think that.
Do you think he's getting tired of holding that damn briefcase every single Monday night in SmackDown? I bet he is.
What I would do with Rollins, as far as cashing in the Money in the Bank, would be if it was up to me, I would pull like a swerve. And here's what I would do. I would have something like a babyface, whoever it is, has to be champion. So you're at the Money in the Bank of this year, 2015. You have the babyface champion, probably Cena, and then you have a babyface person who wins the briefcase. Let's say Ziggler. You know, this one to do that. So what happens is, this is what I would do because I'm a dick. Have Ziggler win the Money in the Bank for 2015. He cashes it in on John Cena that night and wins. As soon as he does, that's when Rollins cashes his in. So you have 2 cash-ins back to back.
Oh wow!
Because the briefcase said up to 1 year, and the night didn't end.
But do you really think WWE wants to wait that long for Seth Rollins to cash in?
Well, I mean, so far, Edge is the longest person to have waited to cash in. He waited almost, what was it, like 10 months?
Who's the shortest? Is it Kane?
Kane, I think, Kane was the shortest because he cashed his in that night.
Were you surprised that night?
Kinda. Actually, no. I think I definitely was, because because it's never happened before. No one's ever cashed in the night they wanted.
They need to bring back Money in the Bank at Mania, but I don't think it's ever going to happen again. Never.
No, and it goes back to that conversation we're having about themed pay-per-views before we hopped on the air. It's ugh.
Yeah, but it was great for kickoff Mania back in the day. It was great. I mean, from my point of view, but no.
Well, it was cool because it's like, okay, we're gonna have 6 Raw guys, okay, and then we're gonna have half of 3 Raw guys, 3 SmackDown guys, cool. Then we're gonna have some Raw guys, SmackDown guys, and ECW guys. Okay, fine. Now we have 10 guys. What the 10? It's a little much.
Yes.
Spin 6.
What else? I think, I know you know already. If Taker does not WrestleMania, put him in the damn Hall of Fame, and that'd be great, you know. This year, if it doesn't happen this year, do it next year because it's in his hometown, you know.
Yeah, I think that the rumor, there's another strong rumor going around that one of two things is going to happen with Undertaker, because apparently there's been advertisements with him, with his picture with the WrestleMania 31 logo.
Yeah, I know, on the trucks.
So the rumor is that one of two things is going to happen to Undertaker this year. Either Undertaker will fight Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania because that's who he wants to face.
Really?
Yep, he wants Wyatt.
He don't want to. I thought the rumor was he wants to face Sting. Was that Sting? Oh, that was Sting's idea, right?
No. The plan is still to have Sting wrestle Triple H. That's not changing.
Okay.
So, the plan is that if Undertaker is able, and both him and WWE feel that he is able to compete, he will face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 31.
So I'm sorry. What's the plan B if that doesn't happen for Wyatt Taker?
Hall of Fame.
I know that, but they should put in the Hall of Fame regardless.
Well, they were going to anyway, but they're going to put him in this year.
Oh.
Yeah, so he would be the headliner, which I'd probably prefer. I mean, that actually, I shouldn't say that. That. As much as I love it, see, I'm on the fence about the Undertaker Sting match.
Yeah.
Because I said this in the Sting video, is that it's something that you'd want to see so badly. The hype and everything would sell itself.
The hype would be good, and probably the match would probably won't be as good.
No, the match would be horrible. That's the problem.
I got an idea. Make that a triple threat match, but probably won't, that triple threat match won't be that good either.
No. And unfortunately, it's because both of them are way past their prime. If you did this 10 years ago, holy shit.
Are you talking about in the Attitude Era, huh?
Well, no, 2005. Hell, if you did this in 2010, you did this 5 years ago, holy shit, this match would be amazing.
Yeah, but Sting was still part of TNA.
I know, that's what I'm saying. If only you had him to, but I feel like that the hype and everything for a Sting Undertaker match would be epic on every level, because you wouldn't have to do much because it's such a huge fantasy match. But the end result, the match in itself, the match in the ring, the product in the ring, would suffer, and it would not live up to the hype and the anticipation the match would set itself for, and that's the problem. And then that's something I would feel horrible. You know what I mean? It's like, do we really do this match for the sake of milking the money for a fantasy match that we know is going to suck, or are we just going to, respectively not do it?
Yeah, but we'll find out what's going to happen. So if Taker just goes in the Hall of Fame, so what's going to happen with Wyatt? Who's he going to face? Oh, yeah, Cena, right?
No. As far as that, I don't know who he would face. Actually, to be completely honest with you...
Oh, yeah, they fought already. Never mind.
What's that?
I was talking about Wyatt did face Cena. That was last year's Mania. Never mind. Go ahead.
I can think of one person that Wyatt could face that would keep him in like a main event-ish level that he hasn't fought yet at all, actually.
Who, Orton?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, he hasn't fought Orton yet.
I don't know if that would be a good match or not.
I think it would. I think it definitely would. I think it would be not the greatest match in the world, but I think it would be a very good match.
Yeah. Do you think Wyatt, not this year, do you think next year he'll become WWE World Heavyweight Champion?
Honestly, I don't think Bray ever needs the belt. Ever. His character is so unique and so special and so different that it stands out on its own.
Yeah.
Doesn't need the title. He's like a Jake the Snake Roberts.
Or Piper, huh?
Or you could say Piper too. He's so good at what he does that he does not need the title.
But hopefully he gets a title shot or title win before he hunks it up.
I'm not saying don't put him in title matches. I just don't think. I'm not saying he doesn't need the championship or shouldn't win it. I just think that right now, and concerning the way that his character is being used, he doesn't need it.
Yeah. I like Wyatt. He came a long way ever since Husky Harris, and can you imagine if we never had NXT? It would be the same old guys over and over and over, in main event status,
Well, it's funny. two things on that. Number one, Triple H, for all the crap he's received for saying, "Oh, I married the boss's daughter," blah, 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 and all the negativity he's received, is a genius when it came to thinking, oh, hey, we need to develop a system in place to get people ready because neither OVW or FCW did it for us, so let's get into this way. So I got to give him extreme credit for that. Number two, the wrestling business is supposed to be like a silicone where it goes in cycles. And unfortunately, it's going cycles in the wrong way where everyone's facing each other. It's supposed to be like, bottom card pushes through the main event and boom, boom, boom. So it's supposed to be like, But,
So actually, you're trying to say that Triple H it was his idea to invented the NXT roster, huh?
Well, he revamped it, and I think that he realized very quickly that, and he said it himself when they launched the Performance Center, was talent is our biggest resource.
Yes.
None of anything we do is accessible unless we have talent.
Yes.
And he's fucking right.
Because look at Cena's not gonna be with WWE, 10 years, 30 years from now, or Randy Orton. They gotta go younger,
And I think that's one of the things that WWE did right and they did wrong with John Cena. Because what happened was, if you look at the history of their top stars, right? If you take, you look at everything they've done. So the first big name was Hogan, right? Actually, well, if you want to get technical, it was technically Buddy Rogers, then Bruno. Bruno was the big first name. But then we're going to the modern era. We'll go to 80s. Hogan was the first big name. Hogan was on top from 1985. No, 6. 80. Hold on, I'm wrong here. 84. He was 84. From 84 all the way to about 93, which is when I think he left. It was either 93 or 92. No, I think it was 93. So a little under 10 years. Okay? After that, they needed to create a new star. So they had the next generation. So you had guys like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, a couple of others in between. But generally speaking, it was those guys. It wasn't until Austin and Raw came in that you started to really get some really, star-studded power, and the power that the WWE had back in the 80s with Hogan in terms of name and brand recognition. With all due respect to Bret and Shawn, as great as they were as top talents, those three guys had the ability to transcend the industry and say, oh, hey, we know who you are, we know where you're from. But Rock and Austin weren't on top that very long. Austin won the title from Shawn in 98, and he was pretty much done in 2003. That's less than 5 years.
Yep.
So when it comes to Cena, they invested in someone very young, very early, that could go the distance. Cena's been on top, folks. Sad to say this, and I know you're going to probably hate hearing this. Cena's been in the championship contention area as far as the top the man for 10 years now.
Wow, see?
He won his first WWE title in 2005.
Yep.
Now, that's a smart move, but it's also a dumb move, because what they did was they put all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
So when they put all their eggs in one basket, you put the fucking company on his shoulders. Now that could work either way. It's good that you have the leader, the guy who's the focal point and everything like that. But at the same time, when you start to realize, hey, that resource is starting to get burned out, you're right back in the same position you were again. As opposed to saying, hey, if we have these 6 guys that we have as far as one, you can still have the one stand-up, but we have 6 guys to fall back on in case this one guy, whatever happens to him. Then you can, opt out and switch out to whatever they can. I think they're going to start to do that with Roman Reigns because they've had a very strong eye with Roman the last couple of months. And I think that they definitely want to make Roman Reigns the next big
thing, huh?
Big star. Yeah.
Speaking of that, you probably know already, McMahon is a big fan of, big guys like Batista, Hogan. He's not a big fan of like a Daniel Bryan or CM Punk. Why is that? He should go with the little guys because I think they could do more things in the ring than the big guys,
Well, Vince has always had, and again, when I say all this, I'm saying everything based off of what I hear between interviews from wrestlers, mostly interviews from wrestlers, I'll put it that way. From what I understand, Vince is very big into making things bigger than life, and calling wrestlers superstars,
Yes.
mega events, WrestleManias. So he's bigger into the bigger than life,
Format.
yeah. So he's into that type of look. He doesn't want a wrestler that you can pretty much pluck off the street, or he looks like you can pluck him off the street.
Well, look at Daniel Bryan. He had a great run last year, and I'm glad he would be at the Rumble.
And I'm not. I love Daniel Bryan. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of him. I actually met Daniel Bryan in person at his last independent wrestling show, or second to last independent wrestling show before he signed.
Is he a cool guy?
Very cool. So laid back.
I wish most guys in wrestling business, especially WWE, lay back, but they're so or not like that, you know.
I don't know. I've only met a handful, but at least from the modern roster. But so, Bryan does not. To Daniel Bryan's credit, phenomenal in-ring tactic, great submission specialist. As a pure professional wrestler in the ring, he is one of, if not the best on the roster.
I think he's definitely a future Hall of Famer.
I could definitely see that. And however, Vince, at least from what I understand, again from other wrestlers' interviews and so on and so forth, Vince is about perception, which is a smart way to do business sometimes in a business where you're all about content. So you look at if you were to look at Daniel Bryan with any preconceived notions, you don't think of anything much of him because he's small, he's not the greatest muscular, you know what I mean? But if you look at guys like Batista, Hogan, Cena, you see that like larger than life.
The Rock too.
It's kind of a weird wrestling prejudice or stereotype, I should say.
I think it's kind of stupid, you know.
I agree, but that's just a way. I mean, hey, he's the fucking boss.
Well, stupid. I mean, that makes no sense. Another thing is, really quickly, I want to hurry up with this thing. We went a little overboard, but I think it was a great success. What's your thoughts on Rey Mysterio? Is he really done with WWE? I think he is, right?
On who?
On Rey Mysterio.
It's funny. It's funny because I've heard a bajillion different things, and his story is a very interesting one.
Well, just cut to the short, you know, version.
He's up on Mexico pay-per-view, so I mean, so he obviously was frustrated. He wanted to get out of his contract, and what happened was, for those of you who didn't hear, Ray was injured, and he had a bad, I believe it was a knee or some form of leg injury. I don't know what specific, but anyway, he was out for a while, and he was out to the point when his contract was expiring.
Oh.
So he was out for so long within the last year. I mean, he was out for a while, but he was out for so long within the last year that WWE reserved the right, and it said it in the contract. They reserved the right to extend the contract if they don't feel they've got what they've needed out of the dates that they asked for. So that's what happened. They essentially re-signed him without his consent. He was pissed.
I bet. Hey, didn't they do the same thing for Punk too, or no?
No.
Okay.
So Ray wanted out of his contract like bad, to the point where he stopped cashing his WWE checks.
Damn.
So the last thing that I heard was that, and then he showed up like the last minute clip of a AAA, I believe it was AAA, pay-per-view, where this is right after the whole Del Rio incident. And however, he's been in talk with Vince in person. I guess the rumor now is that he's expected to make, ironically, another return at the Royal Rumble.
Oh God, here we go again.
I know, right? Jeez.
And after that, we won't see him for months again.
Won't see him until 2018.
Yeah, or 19. From my point of view, about Rey Mysterio, he needs to hang it up. I mean, he had a great run early in his career. Early in WWE. Won the Rumble, won the championship, and that's it. But now he's injury prone.
Well, it goes back to that whole thing I was talking about with Ziggler.
Yeah.
Ray started when he was 16, and unfortunately his cruiserweight style, especially his knees, I think he's had like 9 knee surgeries.
Damn.
Yeah, it's some ridiculous number like that. But it goes back to that whole. It goes back to that wrestling style.
That's gonna be a record for him, huh? 9? Shit.
I could be wrong. It's some really high number of knee surgeries, but the point being is that his style can only go for so long. I mean, hell, I believe he's 35, maybe young, maybe older. So he's been doing it for 20 years.
He needs to hang it up.
He's been doing 20 years of a style. I mean, shit, he's been doing this since he was like 14 in Mexico. I mean, he's obviously a legend, definitely a Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of things from a business perspective I think WWE should take into consideration. And one of the big ones that I've been pushing for at least 5 years is to bring back a territorial system.
Yeah.
Now, this is obviously before NXT was revamped and relaunched, but what I suggested was take 5 different locations, maybe even 7, and make them WWE regulated areas within a different geographical standpoint. So, like, you have one in Mexico, you have one in Canada, you have one in Florida, you have one in California, you have one in New York, you have one in Germany. So that way you can spread across.
Yes.
But-
Anyway, I'm gonna let you go. Go ahead, plug your thing one more time because this is a great podcast. I really appreciate it. And go ahead and plug your thing one more time.
You guys can check me out on all sorts of different various social media. So Twitter at OKFabe, Facebook.com/OKFabe is back, and my WordPress at okfabe4ever.wordpress.com. And thank you, Rai, for having me as always.
Anytime. Check out my Twitter. It's Team Rai 32. Check out my YouTube. It's Team Rai, and check out my Facebook like page. All the links will be down below. I really appreciate it. And you want to say goodbye to your viewers, my friend?
Sure, why not? Thank you guys all for watching. We really appreciate the love and support. Of course, subscribe to my friend Rai here, and subscribe to me too over at youtube.com/okfabe4ever. And we'll see you guys next time. Absolutely.
Yeah, and hopefully the Rumble will be an awesome pay-per-view to kick off Road to WrestleMania. Have a good one, my viewers. Good night. And it's the host with the most, Team Rai, and my special guest,
OKFabe.
Good night, my viewers.